I got that.
Commissioner Watson, if you unmute yourself, can you hear us? Do you want to run the meeting, Commissioner? Watson, you're muted. You're still muted, Mr. Watson.
How about now?
Very good. We can hear you now.
You guys ready?
David's on there. I see David via Zoom, and Patsy's here in the commission reading room, myself, Miss Susan Thomas, and that's the crowd in here.
All right, we'll call the special commission meeting to order. We'll suspense of the original that we generally do unless, Patsy, you think we need to go on. We only have 2 items, right?
Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Mr. President.
All right. With that, first item, Mr. Parker, I don't have an agenda in front of me.
All right, the first item is just to review, discuss, consider certification of results for the special Harrison County Board of Education levy election. Results were declared as of 4:20 p.m. on Friday, December the 18th, 2020.
All right.
Commission conducted the canvass, and we have a couple items that will require signatures of the commission pending approval and certification.
All right. All 3 of our commissioners were present from time to time. Patsy and I were there from the start to finish. I think it went pretty smooth and pretty transparent, and everything was assured that every vote counted. Any concerns or whatever? Willie?
There was no major items or anything of concern during the canvass. Just requires a motion to certify and approve, and then the commission to affix their signatures.
Motion as
Go ahead, Patsy.
said.
All right. Any further discussions? David, do you have any comments or anything regarding that? None? Susan, everything from a clerk standpoint, okay?
Yes.
All right. With that, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, Mr. Parker, next.
The other item on the agenda is to review, discuss, consider payment of interest on employee and employer contributions to the Consolidated Retirement Board in regards to the Scalapio settlement. If the commission desires any discussion, that can be an executive session. We can set up a conference call from my office, or if you have any questions on this, the estimated cost, depending, the Consolidated Retirement Board would not give us a cost factor until after they get the settlement in place and run it through their computer. And Ms. Romano is also on the Zoom call if you have any questions for a prosecuting attorney. But we estimated the cost, depending on how the calculation is done completed by the Consolidated Retirement Board, $3,500 through August of 2018, approximate cost for the employee. Employer is approximately $6,500. And then if they go through December of this year, that cost would go up to approximately $6,500 for the employee and approximately $9,000 for the employer, depending on their cost factor. So the request is for the Harrison County Commission to pay both of those numbers, both of those amounts.
All right. Has Mr. Harold been involved with the process? And let me just refer to Rachel. Rachel, your comments, concerns, questions, recommendations?
Rachel, can you hear Commissioner Watson?
She's muted.
Rachel, can you unmute yourself and
Okay, sorry. I was having difficulties.
Yeah, I was too. Rachel, did you hear the questions
I did not.
with reference to the Scopio settlement?
Yes.
Is there any concerns, recommendations, or whatever that you think commission ought to take at this time?
Commissioner
Yes.
Watson
Go
asked Rachel, sorry, to make if Mr. Harold was involved, and he was involved in these discussions.
Yes. Mr. Harold and I have had quite a few back and forth conversations in the last week or two, if you will. And what we have come to is in trying to finalize the settlement agreement, unbeknownst to Mr. Harold, there was a matter of interest when it comes to each respective party's pay-in to the retirement board. You know, we considered that an imputed cost. You know, interest was part of, you know, what we agreed to pay in. Mr. Scalapio does not agree that it's an imputed cost as part of his pay-in, and he is demanding that the commission pay his $3,500 worth of interest. That is between Sam's calculations and Mr. Parker's calculations. We've come up with about $3,550. Is that right, Willie? I may be a little bit off on some change.
Approximately.
All right, so we're only talking $3,500 to get this thing off the table and resolved. Is that correct, Willie?
Yes, assuming the Consolidated Retirement Board does the calculation in a similar fashion. They did give us a number and would not give us a number.
They would not do the calculations for us. They would not even give us a hypothetical. So this is what Willie and Sam have both come up with. Willie had some, I don't want to say extensive talks, but you did discuss the formula with the financial guy at the retirement board. So we believe it to be a rather accurate estimate, if you will, as to what is owed for Mr. Scalapio's interest payments. Should we not, and by we, I mean the commission, should the commission decide not to go forward with the interest payments, I do believe that we would find ourselves in front of a circuit court in trying to enforce the settlement agreement. At least that's what Sam Harold has relayed to us, that his client is adamant that he will not pay this interest. He's already losing money. He'd rather try to back out of the settlement at this point than pay the $3,500 and some change. So that leaves the commission with a decision to make. So.
All right, Rachel, do you have any recommendations for us?
The only thing I can tell you is I can't guarantee you how it would go forward should we not decide to pay the $3,500. Should we try to enforce the settlement agreement? I can never tell you what a judge is going to do. They may say, listen, there was a meeting of the minds, this contract stands, everybody's paying their imputed interest, move forward, get off my docket. They may say, there was no meeting of the minds. Nobody decided to take interest into consideration, given that it's a $3,000 amount. The court may say that it's such a monetary amount that the contract could be voided and we start back at square one.
All right. Patsy, you have any questions, comments?
Sure.
David, how about you?
No.
Mr. Parker, I'm assuming here your recommendation is to approve it. Should we put the cap at the 3,500 or whatever you calculated, not to exceed?
If I may,
would,
I think that we should put the cap at the the date, Willie, that we have in the settlement agreement, and a monetary amount, but also cap it via the date that we stopped paying him.
Yeah, I would recommend that the commission approve paying the employee and employer, of course, interest, and cap it based on the calculation determined by the Consolidated Retirement Board, confirming that calculation. And it's August of 2018 is the date for that, and then a retirement date of on or about, end of December of 2020, I do believe, isn't it, Ms. Romano?
It should be going forward because the retirement board has given Mr. Harold a deadline. They want the signed agreement, should it be signed by the 28th of this month. So it should be a December retirement date.
All right.
So in lieu of an amount, Mr. President, I would, because, we may be a few dollars one way or the other, depending on what the Consolidated Retirement Board does. I would recommend going with the dates of August 2018 and December 2020.
All right. Any,
Motion to proceed-
go ahead.
Motion to proceed as the county and as prosecutor office has recommended.
All right. Any further?
I can't understand what he's saying.
Commissioner Treecost made the motion to proceed based on the county administrator's recommendation and advice of counsel from the prosecuting attorney.
Could he
I
move
think that's-
closer to the microphone to make that motion, please?
All right, Patsy, if you don't mind.
Motion to proceed as stated.
Gotcha. You hear that, Dave?
Yeah.
All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Mr. Parker, do we need signatures or any of that?
The only thing we need signatures on are items as it relates to the certification of the election. Whenever the commission could stop by and get that accomplished would be satisfactory.
Okay, that needs all three commissioners' signatures?
Yes, sir, it does.
All right. Any other items, Willie, that's on the agenda?
There's no other items on the agenda. I'll be preparing the agenda for next week and getting it out there the first of the week, but nothing more for today that I'm aware of.
All right. Hearing none, any parting comments, David?
No, sir.
Patsy?
Asked a question. Do you gentlemen still want to continue to have the courthouse closed until the first of the year on the 4th, or do you want to reconsider opening on the 28th due to the end of the year banking and refinancing and purchase of homes that needs to be done from within the courthouse with the records?
All right. Patsy's got some discussion there. Mr. Parker?
Yeah, it's whatever the commission would desire. The county needs to make arrangements if we are restricting access to allow parties in to record property deeds and such because it can affect their property rights are in line of what the deeds would be. So if we continue until January 4th, we do have to make those adjustments.
Okay.
Mr. Parker, are you saying the clerk of the court has not made arrangements to allow attorneys to come in and file deeds?
No, sir, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if we do continue to restrict access, we will have to make those arrangements starting today. And we may have done that yesterday. I do not know. Started yesterday.
I'm not sure I understand the question from Commissioner Treecost if arrangements have already been made for attorneys to come in and file their papers.
I'm going to ask you, David, do you think we need to close the courthouse clear till January 4th? Because I believe that, we can get the courthouse ready for opening for business on the 28th
How?
by cleaning it as we have done in the past.
I see no reason to open it up until the first of the year.
Okay, that's perfect. And then the other question I have, Mr. President, is do we want to, between David and I, do we want to schedule a meeting on January 4th so that we can have the clerk's office open on the 4th and the 5th before since we only have a meeting scheduled now for the 6th?
All right. I don't, Patsy, I don't have any problem with that. I think if you and David can work that out. And basically, our courthouse is not closed. We still are providing services. It's just the general public access, if I'm not mistaken. So all of our offices are really covered either through remotely or somebody physically right there. So, you know, I think it's a misnomer thinking that our courthouse is really closed when we're actually still open. It's just on an emergency basis. Is that correct?
Okay,
Yeah, that is correct. Restricted access. Each office does have personnel located in the office, so it's just a matter of restricted access.
Let me shift gears with you, Ron. What I'm saying is, what I understood in the last meeting, and correct me if I'm wrong, Willie, is that we have to have a clerk in place, which in order to open the clerk's office and the services that we provide to the citizens. We need to get ready for that. That's what I'm asking. Do we want to do that on the 4th or do we want to wait till the 6th?
I don't, Mr. Treecost, I made that offer to cover that ability to have an interim clerk until we could discuss who the new clerk would be. If the new clerk's already been discussed and picked, I would appreciate that knowledge. It seems that you have already decided who the new clerk is, if we're going to do it that day. I have not received any information from anybody that wishes to be the county clerk. So I'm a little confused if we can't allow a few days for people to come and make their case why they should be the county clerk. If some people have already decided who the county clerk is, please advise the other commissioner, which is myself, who that person will be.
Well, David, that's fine.
I think all three commissioners are supposed to discuss and vote on that.
Well, David, that's kind of you now. That's very kind of you now.
But Patsy?
But what I'm saying is the clerk's office.
I've never had anybody come discuss with me who you plan to make that into that job. You have never discussed it with me.
I am only one commissioner. At the same time, my concern is the services of the citizens, and we have to be prepared on the 4th to have somebody in position for the 4th and the 5th.
So on the 30th, appoint an interim county clerk until the decision's made, whoever that may be.
There is no opening for the county clerk until Susan makes up her mind.
You can vote an interim to take the position the minute that she resigns and takes her place. The person does not take the job until she resigns. So that's not an argument. If you'd like to get Rachel to explain that, you can appoint somebody to be an interim when Susan resigns and until we appoint somebody.
We can appoint somebody January 4th if you want to. If not, I understand your position clearly. I don't need Rachel to explain it to me.
Okay, well, I do not vote to appoint anybody on January the 4th until we sit down as a new commission and discuss who is going to take that position unless it's already been decided. And if it's already been decided, I would appreciate the two of you letting me know.
And I understand exactly what you said. However, we need to direct the county administrator to have a press release that the courthouse services through the clerk's division will be closed and not offered on the 4th and the 5th.
That's your decision.
My decision. Will he move forward to make it clear that the clerk's offices and the services it provides will not be provided by us at the courthouse until the 6th. But I also now will tell you that I would like for the meeting on the 6th to be at 8 a.m. so that way the clerk's office can open on time on the 9th upon our decision as a commission to put a clerk in place.
Are you making a motion, Mr. Treecost?
Making the motion to have our meeting on the 6th at 8 a.m.
All right. Motion for your meeting at 8 a.m. on January 6th. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All right, Willie, I don't know.
No.
And any opposed? No, okay. So we have one dissenting. Willie, I reckon you guys are having a meeting on the 6th, right?
At 8 a.m. on January the 6th, where it was when the meeting will be scheduled. Yes, sir.
All right. And for the citizens out there that needs to utilize the clerk's office for the documents and all that, I'm assuming that you'll expeditiously, the commission will then put somebody in an interim position so that the services can continue as seamlessly as possible, right?
I don't know if it'll be an interim position or a permanent appointment. That'll be the commission's decision at 8 o'clock or thereabouts on January the 6th. That'll be probably the second order of business after we elect a president.
You got it. All right. Go ahead, David.
Mr. Watson, I would also like to go on the record that, again, this commission has acted upon things that were not on the agenda. Mr. Treecost moved and brought to discussion that wasn't on the agenda today. He made a motion. There was nobody that was notified that this was going to be talked about today, including myself. I hope going forward that this new commission is a little more upfront with the things that they wish to do during commission meetings than bringing him up after the agenda's been put out. And I just want to go on the record that this, again, violated the Open Meetings Act, which seems to be something that's prevalent with this commission all of a sudden. And I hope it stops going forward.
All right. So noted. Mr. Parker, anything that we need to address with reference to that?
No, sir, Mr. President, not that I'm aware of at this time.
All right. Because that item, just by verbal, can go on the agenda to begin with for the 6th, right? Really didn't need a motion?
Yeah, that will be the second order of business on the January 6th agenda.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it really didn't, other than discussion purposes at this point in this commission meeting, that could have been done without a motion.
No, sir.
Possibly.
Well, I mean, all one of the commissioners have to do is say, Willie, on the 6th, put this on the agenda.
Mr. President, we have a meeting set up on the 30th, and Commissioner Treecost could have asked for this to have been on the agenda for the 30th.
Okay.
Not brought it up today. He
Okay.
brought it up out of order. He
Okay.
had more than ample opportunity, and still does, to place it on the agenda for the 30th.
Right.
Bring it up for proper discussion, and he did not do that.
Okay.
So, no, sir, it was not done properly today.
Yeah,
Hey, listen, Ron, I agree with David. Let's just go ahead and put this on the agenda for the 30th. That way it can be done as he said. Willie, go ahead and put on the agenda that the meeting be the 8 a.m. on the 6th of January, please. And one of the agenda items to be the new clerk. But we have up until,
the 30th. Yeah.
to tell you. Okay, good.
So we have a motion to withdraw the previous action. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
And Mr. Parker, for the 30th agenda, will you please put a notice out that anybody that wishes to apply for the circuit clerk job to please be available on the 30th or on the 6th to discuss why they should be elected for that position for 2 years.
David,
All
it's
right.
the county clerk and not Albert's position as
County
circuit.
clerk, I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right. Any other discussion, comments from commissioners? Patsy,
Merry
any?
Christmas, Scott. Motion adjourned.
All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Everybody have a Merry Christmas. Thank you.